these people who are representatives that are going into these districts, into these detention centers, they are, as Tricia said, playing politics. They are politicizing a crisis, not only for the American citizen, but also for the people that are being weaponized in this war. You have children that the American investigators are uncovering and saving, that the Biden administration was ignoring. You have all these things coming to light now that the Trump administration is there to fix things, and all of their personnel is able to really get in and make sure that the American people are benefiting from the work being done. But these representatives truly are just politicizing something for the fact that they want donations and they want to stay in office in order to honestly abuse the system for another term. So I think that things like this, where they have to take drastic measures or they think that social media is going to be on their side, they're participating in an America that was more relevant 4 years ago than it is now. We have the media now. We have independent media. We have X to fact check these things. They're not going to get away with the same storytelling and lying, frankly, that they did a few years ago.
Yeah, and they're responsible. Those very people, they're responsible for this border crisis. They're the ones who helped fling the border wide open over those last 4 years that you talk about. Can you share a couple stories from TAB's recent documentation efforts that have really stuck with you? Stories that capture what mainstream media isn't showing?
Absolutely. Some of the work that TABS has done in the documentation space, in the mini doc space, where it's really just even these 10-minute pieces that we're putting on social media to emphasize, what the angel families are going through. And these aren't just people on the screen. These are people that I know the personnel at TABS has met, that I've met personally at events that we've done. And you see the effect that it takes on their lives. You have mothers that are sharing their testimony. You have people who we haven't even featured yet. You haven't even heard their stories yet, that have been through so much, whether it's emotional damage, physical damage, you name it. We have these angel families that have been denied from telling their stories. And I think that's what's most startling to me, is until TABS became a resource for these people, they had nowhere to go. No leftist organization was interested in sharing a story that deserves a huge megaphone on it, because it wasn't politically advantageous. So I think, for me, all of the stories we feature are just things that really deserve a spotlight that would have been ignored before TABS really came to tell their stories.
Yeah, it's true. And this has been a long time coming. Some of the stories that have been highlighted recently, I did an interview with Lauren Phillips, Laken Riley's sister, and their mom, which took place a little over a year ago. And Angie Morphin, Anthony Aguero did an interview with Angie Morphin, which over an incident that happened many years ago. So these are a lot of these stories are long overdue from being heard. Now, TABS is explicitly a more conservative organization, and it also emphasizes empathy and human suffering. How does the group strike that balance between compassion and calling for tougher enforcement? And are these two things paradoxical as many in the mainstream might make them out to be?
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say, Christian, is I don't think that these two things are on opposite sides of the spectrum. I believe that it is compassionate to be hard on the people who are breaking the law. I believe it is compassionate to listen to these angel family stories and try to pass policy and legislation that supports the pain that they've been through, or supports the fact that that shouldn't happen to any other family. Ultimately, it is compassionate to tell the truth. And I think that's some of what, the President Trump, about what President Trump campaigned on, is that it is compassionate to tell the truth about the economy. It is compassionate to tell the truth about what these angel families are going through and what the border actually causes for both the people who are being weaponized in illegal immigration, considering that's so cartel driven, so intentionally, it's a business. It is. We've seen it with NGOs. We've seen it with USAID. We know who's funding these people. We know that it's all kind of coming from the interior of the Biden administration, before that, the Obama administration. We see it get better every time President Trump gets into office. I wonder why that is. So I think that when Tabs, I don't know that it's a balance to strike. We're saying that we want to be compassionate to the real humanitarian crisis that exists for American citizens. And yes, we're interested in being hard on illegal immigrants. We're interested in passing policy that prevents violent criminals from being out on the street. And I think that that's compassionate. And I love when Tom Homan speaks about this because he's obviously a tough guy just in his nature. But the stories he tells about what he's encountered on the job, both with the people that he's made sure that he's gone to work every day to defend and to protect, and also the people that he's, ultimately deported from the country in his job. I think that that's a great example of a tough man having empathy for the right things. And I think that that's what Tabs aims to emulate as well.